keep it going for Paul, everyone.
I hate basketball. I really do. It's a terrible game. It's a stupid game. And they expect you to be able to bounce a ball and run at the same time. Who can do that? I can't. I guarantee you I can't. But all my life, people have asked me, do you play basketball? Actually, that's not completely true, because when I turned about 50, it changed to, did you play basketball? And that pissed me off. No, I never did, but I could. It's not just because I'm older. Come on. So it was terrible. All my life, people have expected that I would be coordinated and athletic because I'm 6 feet, 7 inches tall. But guess what? I'm still waiting for coordination. And I've got things I can share right now that will explain to you just how bad it is to go through life with people expecting you to be able to do something that just is far beyond your ability. I have made high school coaches cry. And I remember my dad got a phone call from a high school coach when I went into, I guess it was my sophomore year. And he was really upset I had not gone out for the basketball team. And he called my dad. He said, Mr. Heck, I want to get your son to try out for the basketball team. And my dad, no, you don't. No. But this guy was saying, look, I was 6'4" by then. He said, look, I can't teach a kid to be 6'4", but I can teach him to play basketball. So my dad said, it'll be a good character building experience. You already know where those things go, right? Character building experience. So okay, Dad, I will. So I went out for the basketball team. 2 weeks later, the coach called my dad and said, I was wrong. And there's a little tear in his eye. It was really kind of sad. I felt bad for the guy. So I knew sports were not going to be in my future, but I enjoyed being part of a group, part of a team, and so I went out for the band. I was thinking, well, trumpet, maybe a trombone. No, I'm the big guy, so you're going to carry a tuba. Great idea. 6'7", with a bright white sousaphone, unable to really walk, let alone march, and do it with any sense of grace. And one of the greatest experiences I had in high school was, it was a large high school, so it was a large band. So there were like 6 or 7 tubas, sousaphones, I should say. And we would run onto the field at halftime from this coiled circle in the end zone, run out and line up, and then we'd do our halftime show and everybody would be happy. Well, that works great until it's raining. Very muddy on those fields after football teams have played the first half of football. I went running out, and of course, people are trying to push me from behind. I fall down. I dug that sousaphone into the dirt so deep I couldn't pull it back up. All I've got behind me are a bunch of lemmings. If the guy in front of them isn't moving, they don't know what to do. So they're all standing in line. The drums are going, and the poor, I really feel bad for Mr. Patterson. He was a nice guy. He was the band director. I hear he's doing better now. He's on his chair, on his ladder, I should say, screaming, go around him, go around him. And of course, nobody did until I finally backed up, knocked down the 3 guys behind me, got up with a giant clod of dirt and grass on the top of this white sousaphone, and proceeded to march the rest of the show. My uncle was a vet, and he lived in a small town in southern Indiana, and I used to go and visit him. And I discovered that being uncoordinated exceeds just the sporting activities you try to participate in. Farm life is not good for uncoordinated people. But I was a big guy, and so he assumed that I would be helpful. And again, my dad said, nah, you know. But I went and I stayed. I was 12 years old, and he wanted to have help putting hay up. So my cousin came over and we started throwing hay bales onto a wagon to put into a barn loft. And when I got up there, after we had done, and we had other help because, you know, I was not going to do much hay moving, but we got up there later in that day and realized, you know, this is a cool thing. You can jump off of the hay loft into the spilled hay on the bottom of the barn floor, and it's kind of like jumping into, you know, a soft pillowed bed or something. So I jumped off, not knowing that there was a board laying down there with an 8-penny nail sticking through it. Yeah, that's what I said. Oh, actually, that's what my cousin said. Oh, as I kind of squealed as I walked around like this with my nail, or with the nail through my foot. The real part of that, though, is that after the doctor came out, gave me a tetanus shot, put it all together, the next week, we went back out in the barn loft. I jumped off of that again, and I landed on the same nail. And that's when my uncle called my dad.
Paul, everybody. Great job.